What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Red Zone Sports. This is our Thursday night Showdown edition. We've got Jags, we've got Saints, we've got Trevor Lawrence playing, thankfully. As of reports right now, Trevor Lawrence is in for the contest tonight, which is good because otherwise this was going to make this slate kind of a shit show. I guess it kind of already is because these two teams are, not the greatest. The Saints lost last week to the Texans, which is very, very odd. So he's going to go through. So I just reading an update on Trevor Lawrence. He's going to go through a pregame workout, and they're going to see if he can go. That was as of this morning at about 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. So we're going to assume for right now that Trevor Lawrence is playing. I think that he is. So that's just kind of how we're going to have to play it for the moment right now. If Trevor Lawrence is unable to go, we've got CJ Beathard, which is not great. But I think you can swap to guys like ETN and Ridley in the captain. I think CJ Beathard's a competent enough quarterback. But really, this is a kicker slate. We saw one the last time the Jags played in London in the morning. It was the Ravens and whoever they played in London. That was a sweet showdown kicker slate. We've got another one, and both of them are positively leveraged in showing up in the optimals a hell of a lot more. So let's get to it right here. So we've got our most expensive captain, Alvin Kamara. We go from Kamara, ETN, Lawrence, Olave, Carr, and then, Beathard is priced up because of the potential injury there. So DK did decide to price him up in case that Trevor couldn't go, which I think is pretty interesting. And then we've also got, Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Michael Thomas, and then that's about it for our top plays. So let's start on the Saints side of the ball. If we're looking at the sim runner here, we've got quite a few of the Saints here. We've got Derek Carr at a nice positive projection. A lot of that is coming from the flex spot. As you can see, he's popping up in the flex spot about 5% more than he's popping up in the captain's or than the captain's rate in the sim. So that's fine with me. 8,800 is pretty cheap for a quarterback. Derek Carr can put up some points. Jags defense is not like the best in the world. And look, Derek Carr likes to throw the ball. So definitely somebody that I basically am going to have in every single lineup. He's healthy. I think you got to get him in there. And at 8,800, it's not cost prohibitive to do that. Here's my favorite captain, and it's Travis Etienne. I don't know. You could play him in the captain spot. I guess people are shying away from it because he's too expensive. But I don't know, man. I love these kinds of slates where you're not going to get like 75% ownership on a player. I mean, I think that Travis Etienne, he's just dominating the snap share lately, right? If we go to PFF and take a look at, what he's doing with the snap share, I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. If for a guy like that who's going to dominate the snap share at running back, he's going to catch a couple of passes. Like, he is their most dynamic player. The knock on him was always, he's always hurt, whatever. He's been healthy. I am going to be jamming in. I mean, I'm playing 5 lineups tonight. I'm maxing out the $20 3 max, and then I've got reserved. I've got both $15 single entries. I probably will just have Travis Etienne on every single one of my lineups. It just makes sense to do for me at this point. I don't know why I would not do it. It's just a smash spot for him, right? I mean, it's just like one of those things where, and I just don't, he's on the road. They're on turf, indoors, a little bit faster. I mean, for all the reason why people are gravitating toward Alvin Kamara is the same reason why you should be going to ETN. So, I mean, I like them both, but based on the ownership, I mean, ETN is by far and away my favorite captain of the night, especially before I liked him before I looked through all the numbers. Now looking through the numbers, like that's really attractive to me. So that's somebody that I'm going to probably get into a fair amount. Yeah, man, that's just crazy. Chris Olave, I think is fine. Again, 40% ownership. I think he's probably a little bit better of a captain play, if I'm being honest. Alvin Kamara, I mean, his leverage is not great. A lot of the negative leverage is coming from it's coming from both spots, but I don't mind him in the flex, but I would rather play ETN at captain for $200 less. Ridley is in a fine spot. You start to see these really high positive leverage numbers on the kickers. Just give me both of them. I'm going to be jamming two kickers. Now the question is tonight, indoors, do we take a chance and roster a kicker at a captain? A couple weeks ago, Harrison Butker in the Chiefs game on Thursday night, he was the captain in the Millie winning lineup. Now, I don't play the Millie, so I don't think it's that 100% necessary. But if you play McManus in the captain spot, you're insulating yourself, and you cannot play Trevor Lawrence in that lineup and just play like ETN and, Ridley if you want to, and kind of play a balance there. Because, for whatever reason, if Trevor Lawrence comes out, I don't think you have to play CJ Beathard. But if you have a kicker in the captain spot and then ETN, you're getting access to a lot of that, and it's not hurting you not having Trevor Lawrence. Because look, let's be honest, unless it's announced that he's not going to play, not that many people are going to play CJ Beathard. And even if it's announced late, a lot of people have made their lineups already and are not going to go back and change. And if they do, they're just going to change out like one or two spots, right? So, look, I think it's fine. Like I said, I just, again, I can't get over ETN. Looking at some of his stats, he's got 3 rushing touchdowns of 20 yards or more, leads the NFL. 29 missed tackles forced on runs, leads the NFL. 352 rush yards after contact, second in the NFL. I mean, it's just like, dude, what are we talking about here? Like, let's get this guy in our captain spots. Let's play him. There's plenty of value. Don't need to worry about it. If we're looking on the Saints side, or let's talk about tight end here, because I think that's a little bit interesting. Evan Ingram coming in pretty highly owned, but Joey's guy, Brenton Strange, had a touchdown last week. At 1% ownership for $1,000. I don't know. I haven't built lineups yet, so I don't know if it's really necessary. But if you need a cheap guy, Brenton Strange at $1,000 is going to be where I am personally going to go to. There's a bunch of other guys down here that are just straight no names. I would much rather play Brenton Strange. Luke Farrell is picking up 2% ownership. I don't know why. Kendre Miller's got 14% ownership. Again, don't know why there. Jamal Agnew, I think, is an interesting play at 400. He's picking up some ownership. But again, I just don't know if you're going to need to go down here. If you're hovering down around the 5,000s, I actually like Raheed Shaheed. for the Saints. He's a guy that they take deep shots with. And on a showdown slate, that's what we want. I've got almost no interest in playing Michael Thomas at 7,000. I would much rather play Raheed Shaheed at 5,000. Really have no interest in fucking Taysom Hill. I wish that he wasn't on this team. It's just so annoying at this point. Jamal Williams, he looks like he's coming back. Whatever. Tank Bigsby not getting used at all. Foster Moreau, no thanks. So, let's take a look at some of the custom lineups just based off of these projections. So look, you've got ETN, those are good baseline totals. That's a pretty low projected dupe, right? And that's a pretty good lineup. It does have Michael Thomas in it, which I don't love, but it does not have any Trevor Lawrence. Now, if you're in a large field tournament and you want to get really contrarian, because I don't think a lot of people are going to have the stones to do this, is put Trevor Lawrence in your captain spot. Because if he plays, the Saints have a pretty good defense, but they're not, we saw last week, CJ Stroud had a perfectly fine fantasy day against the Saints defense. They're not, the Niners, the Browns, some of these really elite defenses out there. They're just not that, right? So a little bit of a quick recap. We've got my favorite play overall on the slate, captain, flex, whatever, is ETN. He's going to be my guy. I think Derek Carr in the captain spot's also really attractive if you wanted to go with the Saint, just because he is going to throw the ball quite a bit. And then I like his stacking options with Olave, Kamara, and Shaheen. Love both of the kickers. Group 5,200, McManus 4,800. Love them both. I think it's a big time kicker lineup. Both of these coaches are fairly conservative and will take the points and aren't totally susceptible to going for it all the time. So I like both of those plays. If you need somebody really, really cheap, it would be either Jamal Agnew at 400 or Brenton Strange at 1,000 for me. I think those are the two best options for super, super cheap guys. I wish Lynn Bowden Jr. got a little bit more run because I like him as overall talent as a player, but he just doesn't see the field enough. Agnew is somebody that's out there. I'm staying away from defenses tonight. I think that if you're going to play one, I would probably pick the Jags defense to play. They're slightly positively leveraged. The Saints defense is massive negative leverage, so just easy for me to stay away from them. I would much rather play the Saints kicker at 5,200 rather than the Saints D at 5,400. That's way overpriced for a defense. That is just not the level of the Saints, right? Now, I think they're factoring in a little bit to the fact that CJ Beathard might play if Trevor Lawrence does not, but that's okay. So let's talk pivots, right? So you have Trevor Lawrence in the flex. He gets ruled out. Don't feel like you have to max out your budget tonight. If Trevor Lawrence is ruled out, it's easy to just swap down to CJ Beathard at 8,600. You're leaving $1,000 on the table. Don't go move your dollars around. That would be my advice. Just do a straight swap. If you really don't like some parts of your lineup and you were forcing Trevor in there, then you can go do that. But for me, I really, really like just swapping down to him. You can go down to Carr if you didn't have him. That's not a bad idea, but don't go too crazy. Don't worry about trying to maximize your salary or even get 200 or 300 within. Again, so good luck tonight, guys. I think this game goes over the total. Total's 39.5. I've got it at I've got the Jags winning at a 24-21 kind of a score there. So I don't think it's going to go way over, but I do think it is going to go over the 39.5 total. So from a betting perspective, if you want to bet the over, go for it. If Lawrence plays, I really like the Jags to win. I think they're kind of playing pretty well right now. But again, favorite plays from either side: Jags, Travis Etienne, Saints, Derek Carr, and Raheed Shaheen. are going to be Rashid Shaheed are going to be my 3 favorite plays right there. My favorite cheap play is Brenton Strange at 1,000, and love the kickers tonight. So get all those guys in there, have fun, and good luck tonight. Let's see some green screens. Don't forget to like, follow, comment. Who's your favorite play tonight? Follow us on X at JJ McIntosh, at Notorious VJL, and at Joey Props. Peace.